sisters, this is what we are saying. It is not okay to accept that any mother's son be murdered by police because he is African Guyanese or Lumso. It is not okay to accept that any mother's 18-year-old son be murdered because he is a policeman. Where else was he to work? It is not okay that any mother's daughter or son be abused or raped or robbed or killed because she or he is Indian Guyanese. It is not okay. And it is not okay to continue this war and to use this war to continue ignoring the needs and demands of the Amerindian people. And if you think about it, that's what Jean was saying, and the first part of what I said is what was being said by the sister from Women Across Differences and so on. And I want to move on from there. Karen said, and you began to chant, that people are asking is where we've been all the time. Well, they can't ask me that, that would be rudeness. But they're asking some of us where we've been all the time, and you chanted back. Was it? No. The point is that the criticism that we weren't here all the time is a stupid criticism. Every single person in the world begins from himself or herself, their own family and their own friends. That's not anything peculiar. The thing that you feel most about is what is closest to you. So the question is not where you begin, the question is where we are going. And this is what I want to suggest about where we are going. If you're a student, and last week when Johanse was killed, and the other students from the university were hurt, if you're a student, and that is the first time it really entered your consciousness that something is wrong with the relationship between the police and the civilians, the citizens, then what should happen now is that you never forget it again. So that the next time that somebody is killed, let me tell you what we should not do, what we usually do. When somebody is killed, if they tell us that those are bandits, we just accept it. We don't even think about whether they are or they're not. What is just as bad is, suppose they are bandits. Since when we stopped using the police and the courts and so on to find people who are guilty and to punish them, instead of the police being judge and jury and execution on the street. So we have lived for what? Several years now, because these killings have been taking place for several years, but they have grown worse over the last year. And we have lived all that time simply ignoring each one of these killings and saying, well, they must be doing something. And now that is our friend, our fellow student, we say, but he wasn't doing anything. And so we must remember the next time, perhaps he wasn't doing anything. And perhaps if he was doing something, then where we want him is locked up in jail until he can be tried and found guilty. So in the first place, I'm trying to raise something about class, because that's what they're saying. They're saying the students are middle class. I don't know how they know that. They're certainly saying that WAVE is middle class, so they write all kinds of things about designer hats. And what I think we have to do is not only to cross those class lines, so that if you are middle class and you came out in the first place because you felt affected as a woman in the middle class, then the job is from here on in to look more carefully at the hurt and the pain of women of the working class. But now let me talk about the biggest one of all, which is the question of race. We cannot go on forever killing each other and saying that that is liberation. We cannot go on forever with a situation in which Indian Guyanese say, if African Guyanese are gunned down, that Indian Guyanese would say, well, y'all are killing us in any case, so it serves you right. Nor can we go on forever saying that because African Guyanese feel oppression, or whatever the various words we use, because we feel, or for that matter, are. That is not my interest. But the answer to that cannot be that we think it is okay to harass and to hurt and to abuse Indian people And the worst thing of all for us as women is that we are also saying it is okay for Indian women to be raped. You cannot rape an Indian woman in the name of my liberation. It is not possible. And we cannot go on accepting it. So it seems to me that the job from today is for us to make the change. This thing that we did today was a strike. We put down, of course, most of us, especially those of you who have a gentleman waiting at home, you're struck, but when you reach back home, the sweeping and the cooking and so waiting, and the pot waiting for you to stir. But at least you're to park 3.5 hours. So we took out this time as part of what Karen told you is the global women's strike, which is in 70 countries of the world, including Africa, including India, including indigenous communities in Europe. And we're part of that whole thing, which this year has as its theme, Women Say No War, Invest in Caring, Not Killing. And what we did in Guyana was to add to that our local demand. Women say no race violence, no race wars, invest in caring, not killing. Could we try from today, whether we are working inside WAVE or whether we are coming together across our different organizations, could we try today to be there, present and ready to be counted in solidarity with each other, instead of simply each being imprisoned in her own little class and in her own little ways? Could we try from today, the next time we hear, if we are African Guyanese, the next time we hear that something happened to people in Andaiye, could we try next time to show some solidarity, especially with the women of Andaiye, instead of behaving as if it served them right? Could we try from today for Indian Guyanese, the next time African Guyanese are hurt, not simply to say it served them right? It may serve a few people of either race right. It could never serve. We no when we forward together. We say no. 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 We forward together. Invest in caring. Nothing killing. 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 Thank you very much, sisters. Remember the WAVE meeting on Tuesday at 12 o'clock and Johannes' funeral and the vigil continues every night at Border Seeker